Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome and thanks for being here, Bruce. We do appreciate that. We're going to start out with the public hearing. We're going to open it up. If anybody would like to talk for that, please sign in and we can discuss anything that you have. Bruce, you got anything on it?
Only that the sign on the trails had a little typo for the poster that they had put up.
Okay, that won't be for the public hearing.
Leo-Cedarville baseball complex should have been Leo Trail.
Okay, that won't be for our public hearing.
We're glad the trail is officially open.
Yes, yes,
and
we
they're
are.
starting on the second half, going down First Road.
Yes, for sure. Do we have anything else from anybody over the public hearing of appropriation of $239,353.86? Anybody on council have anything over this? Okay, I'll close the public hearing. We'll move forward on to our town council business. First, when it comes to our town council, we have a new councilman, Seamus Hepner. Most of you probably know him, but if you don't, he owns an Anytime Fitness, and all council people I hear get free memberships.
Sounds fair.
But we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Looking for a motion to approve the agenda with flexibility.
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I'm looking for a motion for the approval of March 4th regular meeting minutes.
So moved.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Do we have any discussion or anything? No?
I cannot see, so can you tell me who is making the motion and the second?
Yeah, so
Stop virtual camera.
Yeah, there's
it
nobody on
was
the
Greg,
nobody
it was
on the
Greg,
screen.
then Brian. Why can't you see?
I don't know. I don't see anybody but the word town manager.
All right, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I just can't see anyone.
All right.
Did you fix this? Is there a video button?
It's on, I can see that it's on the computer screen that.
How's it being broadcast?
Hey, Peters. I think
Yeah,
our
they
town
did.
manager is talking on the phone, not hands-free, so just keep that in mind.
Stop that and then hit it again and it didn't change anything.
There is somebody in a camping hat talking to him.
Dude on the left stage, one of the tall attorneys, Black Hills, Derek, Okay. I've worked with both of them actually in the past. It's just been a long time, so.
Cause the top one says stop streaming, then there's the start recording, which is not pushed, and then, we got stop virtual.
Ask him about source.
Okay.
We'll try to be more clear for you, Angie. Tyler just said that he knows what's wrong with it and it's not an easy fix.
Okay.
So, we'll try to be more clear and make sure you catch it all. Did we vote on the minutes? I don't think we did. All in
Did we
favor
lose
of approving
everybody?
the minutes, say aye. Aye. Clerk treasurer.
Just the only vouchers you guys are gonna have in front of you are the AP vouchers for $13,022.
I got it. Stand by one. Motion to approve $13,022.
Is that Rob?
Yep.
Thanks.
It's your pen.
I'll second that.
I put 4 out here and they're never here.
I seconded it, Angela.
Thank you.
Is that the only voucher we got this week?
Yes, I did payroll yesterday, but I can't print anything from here and send it to you, so we'll prove them in the next week, or in the next council.
I don't need everybody to stay over and sign the forms when we're done here, because I'll forget. You have anything else for us?
I do not.
All right. When the meeting's over,
Did
would
you
you call
vote?
me? Huh?
You need to do a roll call vote on the AP vouchers.
Yes. Greg?
Aye.
Rob? Aye. Seamus?
Aye. Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Motion passes.
Seamus.
Old, unfinished business. NDOT.
All right, so I'll start with a trail update. Same report as last meeting, continuing to do punch list work. The last bit of correspondence with the contractors related to the signs. Those are a work in progress. Hopefully those will be installed soon. I did receive their next pay application last week, Wednesday. Didn't have enough time to process it, so I'll have that on your agenda for the next meeting. And that pay application is just to release half of the retainage, which I can comfortably be okay with. But I want to make sure that their pay app is in order before I put it before you and take action on it. Second line, Amstutz, NDOT project. Sewer line repair. I reported to you at the last meeting that the Regional Water and Sewer District was willing to contribute $10,000 toward the sewer issue. $3,000 they've already paid out of pocket, so that would be essentially writing a check for $7,000. That information was shared with the contractor. I believe at the last construction progress meeting, the topic was discussed, and the general contractor and the paving contractor, both Brooks and Fox, have requested that the town consider covering the remainder of the expense.
So here's what, we were all at a meeting for the bridge, and afterwards, they just said, hey, there's roughly 21,000 left, correct?
Yes.
Roughly. And he said, how about we split that 3 ways? That'd be the 2 contractors in the town. Tyler said that he cannot speak on that. I did speak on it, but said we would come here, as none of us have final say in anything, so. What's your thoughts, Brian?
Whose fault was it?
So, that's the problem.
No one's.
No, so yeah, so is what's happened in the whole project is they are out there, they're working. If they find something, they'd call Brad. Brad would come down, help them. They would do whatever and work together. And if they hit a line and they broke it, why the job's going, and Brad said, no, that line's got to be hooked, they just fix it and move on, like they do on all their jobs. Well, there was a mistake made on which line was what, and it was an honest mistake, nothing done intentional, because why would you break sewer lines intentionally and not fix them? So that line was not fixed correctly, like we talked about. It was, the good line was capped, the bad line was hooked up. So, there's where it's at. And like he said, we went to the board since Brad was involved, and they said, well, he's not responsible to even come out and even help. And he's not. But we want to keep that relationship because he helps and keeps things moving. So, whose fault? Yep. So that's what happened, and they're just trying to come to a resolution, the easiest and cheapest for them. And I understand that as business owners want to do. And so does town council people. Do you want to know what my response was?
No.
You got it. I said, well, I can speak for the town council. It's no. But I said, we will take it to the town council because now one of us all have final vote on that.
No to the 7th.
No to splitting.
No to split.
I mean, my thought, and this is just me, doesn't mean nobody else has to share this, is we've hired them to do the job, do the job. We'll pay you for the job. You make a mistake, you make a mistake. I mean, you know, you correct it and move on. That's the way I look at business. I want to ask you, put you on the spot like that. Rob?
And this is the one that backed into the church.
Yeah. Yeah. Bring you up to speed, as you heard most of that, the church line got hit, the wrong one got hooked back up, there's cat cap, and filled up the church a little bit. So we got it all fixed, corrected, and now it come with a bill. Because the road was done and they just didn't do it at the right time, they hooked the wrong one up. It's an honest mistake.
Remind him, or tell him what contractor hit the line.
It would be Fox, right?
Correct,
Yeah.
yes.
And so Brooks and Fox are the big boys out here playing, causing you problems over at the gym. With the roads. But that's who the big boys are. Might be some subcontractors throughout that, but they're the two big players out there.
How close are the lines?
To the road?
Well, to each other. I mean, if you
So-
hooked up the wrong line.
Well,
If I
so-
could just issue
yeah.
a small clarification, there actually was not a wrong line, a main line reconnected. It was just the line that was there was deemed to not be active.
Okay.
And so the word was, it's not active, you don't need to reconnect it. No, by the way, you might not want to leave an abandoned line underneath the road, so they pretty much ripped it out.
Who deemed that?
Yeah.
As in,
So I wasn't there, you know, I've gotten similar representations from the sewer district and the contractor, but I think it was a collaboration between the contractor and the regional sewer district. And I would imagine, depending on who you talk to, depends on the perspective, when you would receive that answer.
Yeah, and Tyler ended up finding prints from the church, and it was confusing.
Yeah, it wasn't, I don't think it was even constructed the way that the prints show.
No. So, it was a straight accident. I don't think there's any other thing to say about it except for that. Am I wrong?
Yeah, it's an unfortunate circumstance. From the contractor's perspective, they were working with who they thought the authority was for the sewer line. From the sewer district's perspective, in their ordinance, they say that laterals are private and not their responsibility. So it's a really unfortunate circumstance, and that's why, you know, the regional sewer district must maintain a good working relationship with the town, and that's why they participated in part of the expense for this issue.
So they kicked in 10 of it, and what was that total?
Three they've already paid for
Yeah.
out of pocket, so that would be a
For
remainder
pumping
of
the
7
church.
that would go to
Yeah.
Fox or Brooks or however we decide to work that out.
And it was like 28,000 and something, wasn't it?
It was 28 minus essentially the 7 that's been paid out, will be paid out, which is 21 remaining. Split 3 ways, that would be 7 each.
Greg?
Is everybody else, Nick?
Well, we can let Seamus talk out there and let him listen to all of us first. So maybe he can get an idea of what's going on and you know, how things work.
So the total was 28,000 repaired.
Yeah, and then there was, plus 3 from the regional sewer district side that they've already paid out.
But the total was 28,000.
If we don't include the regional sewer district, then yes, 28.
28,000 minus 10,000 from the regional sewer.
Minus 7, because they already paid 3.
Because they kicked in 3 to help pump the church.
The total expense for everybody involved.
No,
Okay.
I'm wondering, what is the total cost to repair that? What was-
31,000.
Before
Thank
anybody
you.
kicked in anymore.
Before.
Yeah, so we're right around 31,000, am I
Yeah, so
correct?
they paid expenses on their end totaling $3,000. So the total expense that they paid,
No.
Tyler, is there any other cost, do you know, besides the $3,000 that the regional sewer district paid? They got the 28.
No. Yeah, so it's 28,000 is the total cost, and that is if the church turns over the bill that they have. To my knowledge, they have not done that yet, and I have not followed up to see if they're going to do it. So I can do that. That was all included in Derek's original number. So, but he did not know at that time that the regional sewer district had an additional 3,000 that they had already paid out. So the total project cost was 31,000 minus 10,000 that the regional sewer district kicked in.
And to clarify it for me,
yes.
that 31 was what the church paid, correct?
Yes, it
Okay.
included the church's expense.
That's what I thought I heard him say.
Yes.
Thank you. So 31, Greg.
Thank you. Minus 10,000 sewer district. And why, again, does the contractors feel like we should kick in?
They're trying to help offset their cost,
Huh, okay.
I would assume.
And we've been pretty good so far about kicking in all this extra money for this project that the taxpayers paid for, that were out of the town's controls when we're talking about extra law enforcement, extra blankets, concrete, the weather, the other entities that held this project up that cost us a lot more money. And we never, obviously, we can't go after them, correct? We've talked about this, and did we look into that? We were supposed to, seeing if you'd said at one time you thought that there was state law that we couldn't go back on utilities that were holding this project up, costing us a bunch of extra money.
Well,
That was several meetings ago.
several meetings ago, and the issue there, but what had to do with, at least, you know, there's all the layers of various contracting parties, and the state had taken as the lead agency, kind of there. They're the guys that do the decision-making authority on all that.
But it's an actual known fact, and it's right out there that 3 or 4 of the utilities that didn't get their work done on time held this project up.
Yeah.
It cost us more money, let alone some of the townspeople that gave us a hard time about their right-of-ways. It cost us a whole year, which is another, 600,000 bump in change, to delay that project. So, I don't know, gentlemen, with this upcoming year coming, I think we could use $7,000 somewhere else. I'm looking at something right here in front of me that says we don't know if something's gonna cost us $3,000 or $30,000 in the near future. So $7,000 to me is pretty costly, and we didn't have anything to do with it. And I think we entrust them to do the job right. And if you do something wrong, I know in my business, if I do something wrong, I fix it. I don't ask the client to take care of it. So my opinion is no.
Seamus, you don't have to comment on anything? Would you like to talk about anything?
Well, I think I'm a no too. I mean, just knowing what I know in the business world, people have to be held accountable, I want to be fair. I never want to take away from somebody that's owed something, but, when you sign a contract and you basically say, this is what you're gonna get, this is what it's gonna cost you. If they make a mistake, they dig a hole in the wrong spot and cut a fiber optic line, it's not on me it's on them, you know? I don't know, I would probably, knowing what I know right now, I'd say no.
Do you think this will hinder our relationship or future projects with them? And I know you're speculating or guessing.
Yeah, that's a hard one to answer. They're big firms, they've been through struggles in the past, you know, they want to maintain a good standing in the communities that they work in.
I can imagine they wouldn't.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the only thing that I think as a council, we have to weigh is if this would prevent future bidding, you know, if they each pay 10.5 roughly.
I doubt it's gonna affect either one of them. And what they're gonna do in the future, if there's another job, they're gonna make it up there, they're gonna add 10 grand to it, or 7 grand, or whatever the difference is, and somewhere else it's gonna get blended off, and
Let me ask you this, Jerry. Excuse me.
no, go ahead.
You know these people inside and out better than probably anybody sitting up here. When these people, well, actually, I have been through this with you before. So when these people bid these jobs, they bid a certain percentage of contingency that something's going to go wrong. And what do you think the percentage of contingency on this job might have been?
probably pretty low because it's an in-depth project, and the way that those contracts are structured, if anything falls outside what's on the documents, they get paid for. That's just the way that those agreements are worked. Yeah, I think the initial observation is that the pricing that's been, the expenses that have been provided, we're on a time and material basis, and typically that kind of pricing includes, profit. So I think if you were to entertain the idea of working with them, I think the first step would be to go back to them and say, could you please revisit your pricing and pull profit out of that overall expense. The project is working well. It's both the owner and the contractor working together to make the project work. The way the contractor builds the project can impact the cost, the way they manage their project. I'd say, there were a lot of hiccups out there related to utilities. I agree the town responded accordingly to be able to help. And to their benefit, they also worked on a disjointed project. They weren't able to just come in and do it and get out as they had intended. And I'm providing you context as you
Factual context.
look at trying to make your decision. So I think my only suggestion would be, if you wanted to entertain this, that we would go back to them and say, hey, you guys gotta revisit that pricing before we went any further.
And we're totally spent, right, Angela? I mean,
We just had to appropriate $240,000 at the start of this meeting.
yeah,
So
we're gone.
that tells me that we don't have copious amounts of money, or we wouldn't have to appropriate the third month in. We're not setting at, October, trying to appropriate. We're 3 months in, and we just approved $239,353.86 for appropriation. So we need to consider all that, consider everything, and it does suck because their window is to come in 3 months, get it done, get it out,
Right.
and it's not done yet. 9 months later. So that I'm sure it hindered them as well. It's terrible all the way around, and I don't mean to get Greg going, but the utilities, they just killed us on this.
Right.
Cost us a ton of money.
I still think there's something we could do with that. I know it's gonna cost us more money probably to litigate it, but that's just That's just not fair to put it on the taxpayers' dime here in Leo, because they had 2 years of warning and they did not get it moved.
And I think this is probably everywhere, am I wrong, or is this not?
Yeah,
I don't,
no, it's unfortunately, it's,
Well,
That's
I
why
don't wanna
it's,
say everywhere.
that's
but
why
it's-
it's gotta stop.
It's very
weeks to
common.
get a pole moved,
well,
13 weeks.
well, that's what we told them 2 years ago.
I don't think.
They didn't hear it till we
was
started.
running into it on their streetscape project with a gas utility potentially.
Took him 13 weeks to get a pole moved, so.
Okay.
Anyway, I say no, I mean, it's.
Do we
that's
need to
my-
do a motion or a consensus?
You don't need to do anything. I mean,
I think we should do at least a consensus,
Sure.
just to make sure that everybody knows. Go ahead, Tyler.
I think if you guys do a motion, it's done and over with. If you do a consensus, I feel like they'll want to come back. That's just my take of it. I would think if we did a motion, it would be over and we can move on.
I can see that.
you can do whatever you want, they can come back to you whenever you want.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we're not doing, I mean, you guys aren't passing an ordinance here.
No.
There's nothing that we're actually officially
Alright.
acting on.
Great.
But whatever optics you want to attach to, however you deal with it is appropriate and fine.
Real quick, the sewer board, when they, this company must have approached the sewer board with the same offer. And,
No, we were all there and.
okay, so it wasn't a
We
board
asked for
meeting?
more. Yeah, it was a board meeting.
The sewer board?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And I was the one who scheduled that meeting,
Okay.
advanced conversation, because we just needed to get some movement on the issue to try to bring closure.
Very, we need to. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we went there and asked for them to pay for most of it, if not all, because, you know, they did have.
The sewer, the contractor?
The sewer,
Okay.
because they had representation there. And their response was, we are not required, that is their responsibility. He's there just try to help to keep things moving in a timely fashion.
Okay.
So I feel with knowing that, I mean, they kind of stepped up and did kick some out towards it.
Okay. I was just trying to understand the nuance there a little bit. What were you doing?
No, you got any
Yeah,
more
no,
questions?
I'm good.
Where you stand?
No.
Seamus?
No.
You already know.
Before, you're right. So I'm a no as well. I mean, there's our consensus is we're not going to.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hey Derek, before you sit down, do we have any updates on the trail in front of the gas station? I know, weren't we sending?
You know,
letters?
we had scheduled a meeting, the property owner canceled. We basically responded, hey, let us know when you're ready. Time passed. Tyler sent out an email again about 2-3 weeks ago. I replied with my availability, but we still have not heard back from that property owner. So we've tried twice now to engage.
So who's heading up that meeting? Is it Tyler or you or both?
Both. Tyler's been facilitating.
Tyler, could you email him once a week and copy Greg and I in on that, please?
Yep, I'll loop you guys into those emails. I may have Dave and Tim reach back out to their attorney. Their conversations went way better than once they handed over to us. They kind of disappeared. So I'll that'll be my first step when I get back in the office tomorrow.
Okay. And if you're gonna handle it, you don't have to loop us, but just let us know if you would, please, if you sent and what come of that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good question. Brian.
Thanks, Scott.
Yeah. Every once in a while. Ordinance 2025-1. Was that the appropriation we just did? We already voted on that. Angela?
What?
It's just like being open-ended. Do we need to vote and adopt the ordinance? Okay,
Yeah, the beginning of the meeting was the hearing for the public to speak on it. If
Yep.
anybody needs any more explanation, I can explain it, but now you're just adopting it, so I can proceed.
okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to adopt,
If I can
2020.
interrupt for a second,
Yep.
maybe a good time to remind everybody, especially when we have council people who haven't been involved in the passage of too many ordinances. The default rule is an ordinance is introduced at one meeting and adopted at a second meeting. You can adopt it at the same meeting where it's introduced by jumping through a couple more hoops, and those hoops are, first there has to be a motion for there to be, a motion to consider, sometimes it's called waiving the first reading, but a motion to consider the ordinance today. And if everybody agrees on that, then you go
Unanimous.
forward to vote on adoption, and then there has to be a supermajority, so there have to be 4 members voting in favor to do that. And with those hoops, you can introduce and adopt an ordinance at the same meeting. Otherwise, you introduce it one week, the next meeting it gets voted on, and a simple majority can pass it. So if you want to pass it today, first we need a motion to waive the first reading.
I thought we talked about it in the last meeting.
Well, I'm sure, I should see it's listed as new business, so I don't know whether.
That's why
Maybe it was-
I thought we'd already adopted it, because we've talked about it.
I introduced it at the last meeting.
Okay, if that's the case, that's fine, just
Yeah.
because it was listed
No.
as new business.
I definitely see where you're getting with that for sure. That's what I thought we'd already passed, but this is our second reading. That's why I asked her,
Sure.
because we talked about it already and approved for her to do the public hearing
Yeah.
for the money. Okay. You got some education on that, Seamus.
Fair. I'll try and retain all that too.
Okay. I'll be looking for a motion.
Motion to approve, is that what we're?
Yep,
Okay,
2025-1.
2025-1, additional appropriations.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We'll do roll call. Greg?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Seamus?
I don't know what the appropriations is for. Am I missing something here?
No, and you can abstain since we started the last one. These are everything that we did not have budgeted for: propane, unemployment, additional benefits, trail project, AMSTUDS, and then ARPA. These are actually monies, right there's the amount. So we budget at the end of the year. We ask for everything in the line items. She is able to move some line items, but this is something that we did not plan to spend. So if we don't plan, then we have to appropriate. Is that fair enough, Angela?
Yeah, so to further explain that, Seamus, the additional appropriation specifically like for the trail project and Amstutz Road, those are monies that we thought we would spend by the end of last year. And the same for ARPA. These were things that were projects that were supposed to be done last year and did not finish. However, my budget is due by the end of September, and therefore I did not budget to do those projects this year because I thought we were going to finish them last year. And that's what the majority of this additional appropriations is.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. And again, you don't have to vote, you can abstain or vote yea or nay. Abstain. Abstain, thank you. I need all the help I can get.
Overruled.
Thanks. Would you like to vote on it or not?
I'll just abstain.
Okay. Aye. I'm an aye as well, motion passes. Golf cart
I have
ordinance.
two motions.
What's
Who
that?
made the motion?
Rob.
I did, Rob.
Rob made it and Greg seconded it.
Thank you.
She can see us, but she can't, because she's looking right at the camera. Well, we can see you. Golf cart ordinance. I'll let Tyler speak a little bit to this. I think we all seen the emails. We have, or we can let our wonderful sheriff deputy stand up and give us a speech. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, we already have an ordinance. We're looking to adopt this, put the registration, then to put a sticker on it. And the main idea, the whole idea really behind it is to parents or whoever owns the golf cart comes in, knows that it's gotta have running lights, it's gotta, meet the standards in the ordinance that we have. From our, what was that, we did, the plan, the number one thing in there was young kids driving the carts. Andrew feels that parents and everybody should know our rules first, so that way they're enforceable, and that's what this will do. So we talked about $25, $10, $15 for the sticker. Me and Tyler have talked at length at that. I don't want our community to think this is a money grab. It's not. It's a safety issue. This is 100% safety. And this will give Andrew then an opportunity to enforce this safety issue. If they have the sticker, they read it, they understand it, they agreed to it, and then if they don't follow through, he can, see as he sees deemed necessary, to start enforcing our fines on that. I believe there was 3 fines on it. So, probably he'll start out with making sure everybody's aware again, and then hopefully start fining. But again, he'll handle that on case to case, I would imagine. Would you like to say anything else, Andrew?
Yeah, so typically, it doesn't change a whole lot of how I enforce it, because I was doing, basically you call parents on the first violation. If there was a second violation, which most of the time there wasn't, once parents knew that, hey, I've caught your kid once, they typically shut that down. But if there was a second violation, they would get a citation. So you get one get out of jail free card sort of thing. After that, you get tickets. Like I said, most of the time, I'd say probably 95% of the time, if I caught them once, that was the only time I caught them for the year.
I think there'll be less to catch when parents are handed this, because they're bringing their cart down to get the sticker or get the rules. A lot of them probably don't even know, because
There are quite a few that I didn't know. They buy a golf
Yeah.
cart for their 14-year-old to go help run the
Yeah.
Dollar General, pick up milk for mom because he doesn't have a driver's license.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't realize that they couldn't drive. That's the whole reason why I got this golf cart was so he could help me out.
Yeah.
Well,
So I think we'll eliminate a lot of that. There'll still always be some. Every law gets broken one way or another sometimes.
and I know we were looking at we had a rough draft of kind of a new ordinance for it. I was talking with Tyler about it. The old ordinances were fine. The new one definitely had some holes in it. Now it's a rough draft, so they get fixed. But there were definitely holes in it from an enforceability standpoint. For example, if you want to drive your golf cart at night, the new rough draft ordinance said it had to be equipped with headlights, taillights, turn signals. It made no mention of them being turned on. Just has to have them on the golf cart. Okay? So that doesn't really help. Now there's some other
Well, we
little
assume
things
that you would turn
right,
those
you would
off.
assume they would have to run, but you have to spell that out when it comes time to defend that in court. Like I said, the current ordinances do all that. They lay all that out. Like I was talking with Tyler, we don't really have to reinvent the wheel. That's spinning fine. We just need to add, if we want the registration requirements, what the penalties are, and call it good. Move on.
How much does it cost for a sticker?
I think
What's our cost?
I know we have less than $5 in it, but we're gonna have time of Andrew. I think we should, this is just me speaking out loud thinking and nothing more, is when we first do this, advertise, have maybe 2 Saturday mornings to try to hit a bulk of them. After that, appointment only, because we don't want just everybody showing up and expecting Tyler, or if Tyler's who we appoint, or Andrew to be, at their mercy. I think, try to do a bulk, couple days. After that, they can schedule an appointment.
Yeah,
That's
so
can be.
Huntertown is, I think, the first 2 Saturdays that you are supposed to get your sticker for the year.
Oh.
They have it where they can come in and do equipment checks and all that stuff and just call it good. They're there for like 4 hours or something on a Saturday.
Well, that's probably where Tyler got it then.
But I know Grable has been doing I haven't checked any golf carts at Grable. Their maintenance guy will actually go do those. But that's what you guys have, how we want to do it. That's why I put on the form, police officer or designated town official, however we want to do that.
Well, I think the first couple Saturdays, it's, me just, again, my opinion is, have you and Tyler do it, and then, by appointment with Tyler, or you, however that would work. We don't want to give your phone number out to all the public, but,
I mean, if you wanna give my work number out, that's fine, it's on the card that's posted over there, so.
yeah,
They can
so,
call in and say, hey, I need a golf cart check, and I'll run out and check it.
yeah. What do you think, Greg?
Sounds good to me. If it isn't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, well, and I mean, if we do a couple mass Saturdays, and then
Yeah.
after that, we'll just advertise it like crazy, hopefully, for like 3 to 4
And
weeks.
you're gonna have people buying golf carts all
Oh,
through the
yeah.
year, so they're
Yeah.
gonna have to come in and,
Yeah,
you know,
for sure, I
just
agree.
make it easy as possible on the people.
Are you all right with Tyler and Andrew doing it?
Me? Yeah, that's great.
Rob?
What was the price on that, the sticker?
Yeah, we didn't, so,
So, Scott, I think, and David, correct me if I'm wrong, but we'll need to adopt some sort of costing feature, and then it's got to be advertised for 30 days. Is that correct?
If you're gonna add it to the ordinance, I'm guessing.
For
Yeah,
the stickers themselves?
I think that is correct when you're adding a fee.
well, it wouldn't hurt anyways to make sure we hit the bulk of people.
Yeah.
And it's March 18th. If we can get it advertised the next couple of weeks before the end of the month, maybe the first couple Saturdays of May, weather's really going to be breaking. I mean,
So my thought, Scott, is that we finalize the ordinance with the fee structure and everything in it. And I know we already have an ordinance in there. We just make sure that we have everything the way we want it. April 1st, we adopt that ordinance, and then it goes into the 30 days where we'll put it out for notice for 30 days. That means May 1st, we would be able to execute
April 1st is
and
our
begin the
first
sticker
meeting.
process.
Yeah, I'm okay.
that
The
make
ordinance, the ordinance, Andrew, you said had some holes in it?
The one that we were, the
The
new one
draft.
that we were.
The draft? Okay, so when you say,
It'd be the old ones, and
So-
then just adding a registration requirement to the old ones, or current ones, I should say.
okay.
So there is one on our site. And Tyler, did you circulate the old one? If he did, he will.
via that email where everybody's blind carping.
The old one is in the town code in section
Yeah.
72.
Okay.
And if you want us to just add.
But David did work the updated version of it, and I think I'll let him speak to it. But I have not. But I think if he could speak to that some, I'd like to clean it all up so it's all nice and pretty in one location, I guess.
Sure, and we can get to the same endpoint whether we work with the draft that was circulated to you all in the last few weeks, or if we just tweak what we currently have. Either way, it's gonna wind up codified at the same place, saying most of the same things. It's certainly easy just to essentially tack on what we currently have, the registration requirement. One issue, and so I guess that's what I'll propose, is that we'll circulate a new draft that essentially will be smaller than what you got before, because if we leave in place what we have there and tack on, oh yeah, and also you have to register, here's what the registration's all about. One question I have that maybe I could use some direction on, just in terms of the actual functionality / signs and safety features of the golf carts. From the feedback I got, so we want them to have headlights, taillights, turn signals, brake lights, which makes sense. I think the current ordinance requires that they have a placard on them. And we're allowed to do that. We can require that along with everything else, because there's a statute that says that. If we want that, I know in the sort of replacement draft that's circulating, there's also a reference to a flag on the thing. do we want the slow moving, the triangle plus all of the functioning lights? Or if we have all the functioning lights, then we don't want the placard. We can do whatever we want, and so I'll just look for a little direction from you on that, if you have thoughts.
I was proposing it's a placard or brake lights, one or the other, but, I mean, to me, our number one problem, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. I was doing it just as much. And the problem is, not as if there's a placard, or if it has brake lights or turn lights. The problem is, there was 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds, so on, driving these things with copious amounts of people on them, causing problems. Or that's our number one thing that we're trying to correct. So, I was digging down
all that
into it.
stuff is, you're not allowed to do.
Yeah, well, but that's our number one problem. Am I wrong, Andrew?
I'm sorry, what? That's something.
Man, that's great.
Welcome.
Our number, yes, so, and Tyler, me and Tyler talked about this earlier.
Yes.
I'm digging down into this thing, and he said, everybody's losing focus of what the ladies brought to us. It is underage driving of golf carts. That's our problem. Not if it has a placard or brake lights. It's the underage driving that the community wants corrected.
Yeah, and that's already there, but what, the thing we're gonna add is registration. And the registration is only gonna get issued if they physically meet certain criteria. So I wanna know what's the physical criteria you all want me to put in there.
I want to keep it simple, and that was like one of my last emails back is insurance, 16 years old, and running lights if you drive after dark. That's all I think it needs to be, and our problems will be cured because people don't realize the 16-year-old, which is the number one problem of all of it, and by the registration and us handing them and they sign for it, then now they're made aware, and really I don't think there needs to be anything else. That's just my opinion. Bruce.
Since you're not allowed to drive on the trail or sidewalk, and you're driving less than 15 miles an hour, don't you require, DMV requires a slow-moving vehicle placard to be on the vehicle?
We are permitted to require, we're not required to require.
So this was a in-depth talks about, wasn't it, Andrew? So it is good to have it. We can write what we want in the ordinance. So I've always had one just because I want to turn mine up to go faster. My wife will not allow that, so I go slow. And it's just a safety thing.
I got one, it just makes it more visible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's a safety thing, but the registration's in front of us because of underage driving, period. So, I think if you have insurance, running lights, a placard, in 16 the drive, our problems will be cured. We're digging in, and I was just as guilty of digging in deeper on this, and really, the whole registration is for underage driving, make sure everybody's aware, which will really cut down, and we can move forward. We're spending a lot of time on a golf cart ordinance.
Well, as simple as I just said, I want to keep it, that's true, but we're also crossing into, I take the 16-year-old level is licensed people, correct?
Yes.
I read that right. Okay, but see, we're also, Mr. Bailey, aren't we, when we're putting our registration, or our stickers on somebody else's golf cart for use in our town limits, we're also accepting some type of liability from the other residents that we're doing this in a manner that it's going to make it safer for everybody in the community. We touched on this morning. Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to be one of the clearest things that everybody else sees with this. It's not that we're trying to make a buck on stickers. That ain't it at all.
No.
It's just to make it safer for everybody else. So if we don't if we don't keep it as visible as it could be the cart, and make sure that the right people are driving the carts, are we not shrugging some of our responsibility on the liability of other people? Are you following me? Am I making myself clear?
Yeah, I don't think there's a liability issue here, to the extent that we make a reasoned decision about what level of safety equipment is required.
Well, it's Bruce brought it up, and it kind of was on the back of my mind anyway. But then when the triangle thing, I mean, there's certain little things that probably could be required that would make it safer, because we don't want them on the sidewalks.
No, I agree, and that's the direction I'm looking for, which is require the triangles. I mean, the feedback I got from Tyler was that we want to have a requirement that any golf cart that's registered has headlights, taillights, brake lights, turn signals. I just need direction about exactly which safety features we're going to require.
Okay.
I think
So-
it's reasonable to require that and to require the placard, but that's what I'm asking.
I did not get a chance to look at 7.2. If you're saying there's a flag in there, if the town starts requiring so much stuff, I'll sell my golf cart and go buy a UTV, and I'll go fast and do what I want.
Which is not legal on town streets.
So I just want to make
It's,
sure
it
that the
isn't
town-
countywide right now. Now in county, you can
can't-
ride a UTV, a
Can't drive
four-wheeler.
on State Road 1, that's.
No, you cannot drive on State Road 1. You have to be registered with proof of insurance, like a car,
So.
and there's $10 a year.
This brings up, I think my only issue,
1 second.
okay.
I just want to make sure that liability-wise, what you said in here, that by making it the way it's written, we're fine liability-wise, the 5 of us setting up here, that we're doing for our community. That's all I care about. We can leave it down to, no triangle, all that stuff. I just want to make sure that we are covered with the way it's written right now, and the stuff, the laws that we're going to give Mr. Peters there to enforce and his colleagues. That's all I care about.
Yes, and
Okay, that's all I need.
I don't think there's a risk. I mean, you are permitted to permit golf carts, and as long as you go about it in a reasonable way, I don't see that it's a risky thing.
No problem. Okay, sorry.
So the 2 ways we can gain compliance from this is education and enforcement,
Yep.
correct? Is that, do you see any other? We adopt an ordinance and we pass it out through the media, whether it be the Courier, whatever it may be, and let them know in the same hand that we're also going to be increasing enforcement, and here are the penalties, and they're stiff penalties.
Yes.
I think we're just making it a little bit too complicated for what it needs to be.
Well,
And I think
education will solve a lot of problems.
Yes.
Because I'm guilty, when we bought a golf cart years
Yeah.
ago, I had no clue that you had to be 16 or.
Yep.
We didn't have lights, we had a cheapo, like the original, an old golf cart,
Yeah.
To have fun.
But I think if you lay it out there and you say, hey, this is the ordinance, and if you're coming in here getting a permit, and you're signing a document or paying that, hey, I've read this and I understand that, hey, your kid can't ride this on the sidewalk, you can't ride it on the trails either, or whatever, just educate the public, I think will solve a lot of issues.
I think that we obviously need to wait till April 1st meeting. I did not see the 7.2. I talked to Tyler today about it, but I've been on the go since. Maybe if we need to clean that up a little bit, come back, and then just for the cost, since me and Tyler talked earlier, I didn't think about it, a UTV, four-wheeler, and all that with the state of Indiana's license branch, it's $10 a year. So I think that would be a good number. That's me thinking out loud. I'm not against more. I don't think we should definitely do anything less. And we can reconvene on that as well, or we can handle a lot of this through email. Because you're the one that's gonna write it, correct? Okay.
The other thing that I would want clarity on is, under the current version, Golf carts are not required to have lights unless they're operating near morning or dark. Do we want them to all have lights? Again,
I think if they're gonna drive it at dusk, they need to have headlights. It's just like a car.
So that would mean we're not requiring them to have headlights to get registered.
I think it's like a car. My car lights could not work. I could still drive it on the road legally. I cannot drive it on the road legally at night. If I have a bad circuit to my car lights, I can still drive it.
What he's asking is, when we do our physical
Are we
inspection,
gonna give a sticker to a golf cart that has 0 lights on it? Because and if so, that golf cart is only permitted to run during broad daylight. I mean, I don't think that's a terrible decision, but that's the guidance
I don't have an issue with it just because I go back to a vehicle a lot. You've gone back and forth with me on it. I don't have a problem with it myself. I mean, I don't run my headlights during the day.
Yeah.
I still have to turn mine on. Mine are not automatic.
that kind of goes back to the physical inspection. When I'm inspecting it, do they have to have headlights? Or
Well,
something?
but if they have a sticker and they sign saying they accepted the rules, that means they agreed they won't be driving after dark. And if they are, that's where you come in, or whatever deputy's out here. I'm not against requiring them either.
And that's what I mean, ultimately, we go off at golf carts.
Just doing too much. Or golf cart. Yeah, I'm back to, they need to be a licensed, insured driver, and, because if you are of a car, there are rules and laws, and I think they should follow right along with the golf cart. If we enforce those with the registration, I think 90% or more of our issues will go away. Does a flag make a difference? No. Licensed drivers will make the difference.
For sure.
So Scott, why don't I, when I get back in the office tomorrow morning, I'll put together a list, send it over to David, based on what I've heard tonight here, and then have him update the ordinance. If everybody's good with $10 charging for this, we'll add all that into that one ordinance, and then we can send it out, later this week, early next week, and everybody can take a look at it. And again, I think the more important part of this is that all of this is tied into one location that takes care of our underage drivers and makes it visible enough. I don't think we need a placard and a flag. I think that's a little silly, but definitely a placard that makes sense. So, but I can put it all in one group, send it off in an email, and then go from there.
Thank you. And then please, everybody on the council, if you questions, whatever, let's circulate them. Let's get talking about it so we can put this to rest April 1st.
Yep.
Anything else on that? Handbook updates. There's been a lot of emails going around about that, a lot of conversation going on around about that. Obviously, we're not introducing it tonight and adopting it. But any questions or concerns right now? Brian?
Nope, I liked it. Thought it looked good.
We'll get it to you.
Okay.
Okay. Rob?
Yeah, no questions.
Greg?
concerns.
Okay. I don't have any as of right now, so we'll just keep moving forward on that, correct? Okay. Tyler, you good? Yep, I see it. Lakes of Leo, and our CEO, we're missing someone tonight. So, the road concerns, Mr. Lichty has not turned in anything to this point of what was asked of him 2 weeks ago. So I will follow up with a phone call in the morning on that. I think that's our first step. Am I wrong, Derek?
Yeah, I think what you're trying to get, he made some representations about communications that happened.
Well, and I mean, he won't take over the water. There's other issues that's created road problems. And I mean, we need to get in front of this. Seems like every month we're getting farther behind.
Yeah, I think, having a conversation with Robin would be great.
Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, the water issues or the water tap is the one of the one part of probably two or things we got going on out there. I took Derek out there. He drove it. He can speak a little bit to that. I know we don't have the official report back yet, but it is. We have some very bad areas of asphalt out there that have moisture pushing up through the ground. So. Figure out what our next steps are to all that. The county, we were under the impression did a review at the end of the performance bond. We found out that the county does not do reviews at the end of the performance bond for Leo-Cedarville. So basically, at least two sections of that are probably out underneath the performance bond. The third section is actually the best section and looks the best, of course, right? So, but we're trying to make sure we don't miss that window to do a review there. So.
If you got time, I can meet you and we can make the call together.
Yeah.
Okay. Greg and I are gonna try to reach out to Robin in the morning together, so it's not a one-way conversation. There will be a third person there. I think that's our best interest. I don't think there'll be any issue talking to Robin, but just better be safe than sorry. New printer, scanner, copier office. Denied. Next topic. Oh. Tyler, is that you wanting a printer, scanner, or is that Angie?
So, no, it's that our current printer, scanner, copier is many years old. We've been told many times that it's starting to get, well, we can't buy parts for it anymore. If anything breaks on it, it's down, we're done with it. And that there's no real direction to go with it besides replace it. So I started getting quote. If you look at the bottom of my town manager's report, we received both ABM, Image Solutions, and Perry Protect. Basically, it's going to cost us less to print per page. We have initial upfront investment with all of them. The Perry Protect came in at the lowest cost for the machine. Their cost per page is a little bit higher, but I think I figured that we'd have to print like somewhere near 80,000 pages to offset the cost difference between machines. So, for reference sake, I think our current printer only has like 60,000 or 70,000 on it. I don't know when we bought it.
So what do you want?
I would recommend that we go to the Perry Protect and update there. As long as, again, Angela and I got the last quote in late last week, and Angela and I haven't connected to exactly chase down where those funds are coming from. It's not something we have to deal with exactly tonight. We can push it a couple weeks if we want to make sure we know where the funding's coming from. I'd be fine with that. I just wanted to get it in front of you and let you know that we're heading in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely got to secure our funding to move on it. So we'll look for that on the next meeting. Thank you.
Yep.
Any comments? Bruce, got any comments? Any more besides Derek's park sign or trail sign he's going to work on?
No, but people are using the trails. So
Boy, I know, without a doubt.
that's a given.
Yeah. So, as it says in here, park board the 14th, planning the 8th, zoning of the 8th, stormwater the 9th. You guys all have it in front of you. You're always encouraged and welcome to join any of the meetings that you want. Has anybody up here got anything, Greg? Rob? No. Seamus? Meeting's adjourned.
Scott, why are we signing off for ordinance? We didn't do anything on it.
Give it back.
I just got into signing mode.
So is I. I got a thing
He
that
was
says,
just trying to test me and I just failed.
Well, you turned